Hey guys, we're back. Part 2, men. What's up? We still have our special guest, Mr. Green.
Hey y'all, what's up? How you doing?
And this is Men, Part 2.
Let's get it.
Okay guys, my first question, it's kind of wordy, but whatever. It's just, why do men question you? Like, do they ask you where you at, who you with, you know, what time are you going to be home, so and so. But as soon as you question them, like, where are you at, what are you doing, you know, what time are you going to be home, you know, even something simple like, what do you want for dinner, like, they get so defensive. And it's like, okay, you can do it to me, but I can't do it to you. Like, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on, where you're at, you know, I'm just curious. But, you know, I just always was confused about that. So what is your take on that?
There should be... The only thing I think that contributes to a man continuously questioning you is him being guilty. You know, if there's trust there, if he trusts you, trust what you're doing, trust what, you know, you tell him, he shouldn't always have to be hounding you and stuff like that. So, you know, I think a lot of the times either A, you know, he could be out sneaking and, you know, doing something behind your back, or B, you know, he could be a good guy, but in the past he could have been hurt, you know, it could have been cheated on. And, you know, in your head, yeah, you know, you're going out with your friends, you know, you're just, you know, out with your girls, or, you know, just chilling by yourself or doing anything. But, you know, in his head, he's been told that before by somebody else, you know, so that could be why he's, you know, checking up on you, stuff like that. And no, it's not good to categorize, you know, every female in the same category and automatically assume that she's going to hurt you. But, yeah. you know, that could be a thought in the back of his head as to why he's, you know, questioning you and always hounding you and asking you, you know, who you with, you know, what you doing and stuff like that. And on the flip, you know, the reason why he may get kind of, you know, testy and, you know, defensive when you question him is because, like I said in the past, maybe he, you know, was questioning his girl and she was out cheating, he was out, you know, doing nothing, being a good guy. So, you know, maybe he doesn't feel the need to be questioned. But like I said, he shouldn't, you know, categorize every woman in the same category. But those could be the reasons why, you know, men kind of question you and then kind of get defensive when, you know, you question them back. You know, it could be either or, but you just have to make the determination and kind of, you know, decide what type of guy you think he really is when he's doing those things. Because it could be for good, you know, it could be for good intentions. It could be, you know, no ill will when he's questioning you or hounding you or nothing like that. It could be all out of love. So, you know, some females want that. Some females want, you know, the dude blowing them up, you know, texting them 55 times when they're at the club and stuff like that. Because the minute he doesn't do that, she thinks he doesn't care about her or something like that. So, you know, it goes both ways. You know, or in conclusion, he could just be a crazy nigga who's, you know, a stalker. So, just be careful, ladies. You never know. You know, you never know.
But I just feel like that also goes along with trust again, because, you know, trust, I feel like you shouldn't have to question your partner no matter what. Like, what they're doing. Like, you should trust them enough to listen to what they're telling you. But also, like, on the other side of that, like, girls also have been told, you know, I'm not doing anything wrong either. Or, like, you know, have somebody else question them. And it's like they're not doing anything wrong, you know. Maybe they've been through that situation and that nigga was out, you know, doing her wrong or something too. So it's like, I guess it just goes along with communication and trust, and you kind of have to communicate with your partner, and I guess it's a test of fate to see if you really trust them or not, because
exactly,
I was like, that's rough.
Exactly.
Okay, so next question. This is just a random question. So I know a couple of homies are like really sensitive. Like they just care a lot, and like I know some girls always want the asshole, like that's just gonna fuck them over, but that's who they love or whatever, quote unquote. But it's like, why do all the sensitive guys get dissed? Like, I like a sensitive guy. Like, I like, you know, a good balance of, you know, like, you know, I'm chilling and, you know, have my own spirit, you know what I mean, and a backbone and everything. But I also like, you know, someone who will cuddle with me and watch movies and just kiss all on me and love me, you know what I mean? So, why do the sensitive guys always get dissed? What's going on? What do you think?
I think that'd be more of a question for you, but in my opinion, it's just, I don't know, maybe a lot of females want that a man to have that, you know, that alpha personality and be, be able to check me and, you know, to do these things and to, you know, put me in my place and, you know, just stuff like that. And I think a lot of that comes from social media. Not saying every woman is like that, but, you know, like you said, I have seen a lot of guys, you know, like a lot of sensitive guys, you know, get dissed and get played and get left for, you know,
yeah,
the you know, the more hard dude, the more tough dude. And, you know, I don't know, it just seems like this generation of women, a lot of them, not all of them, but, you know, they just like the thug dude, you know, the dude with the pistol, or, you know, the gangbanger, you know, the dude with the trap money, or, you know, anything like that. And, you know, like I said, it's not all women, but it's just, I think, you know, a lot of women just, like you said, like I said, they just feel like they just want to be put in their place, want to be, you know, being able to tell what to do, and, you know, just things like that. And it's not that a sensitive guy can't do those things, but he just does those things in a different way. You know, he tries to care about you, he tries to, you know, provide for you, tries to respect you, talk to you, you know, a certain way, talk to you differently, and just the little things, you know, open the doors for you and stuff like that. And I think, you know, a lot of young women, you know, don't realize that, but once they get older and they get tired of dealing with the same type of, you know, type of dude, and once they, you know, fully mature, you know, they'll realize that any good woman would. So, you know, like I said, I just think it's the times. You know, social media has a big part in it, I think, and, you know, I just think that's what it is. But
I understand.
Yeah, I don't think nice guys finish last. You know, I always think they get the last laugh, because a woman is always, you know, a woman will go through a phase. She likes this type of dude, but if you're a real genuine dude who's good for her, who wants, you know, good things for her, who's going to provide for her, and truly has good intentions for her, you always end up with a good one most of the time. So, you know, if you're a nice guy and you have felt that way, it's her loss, you know, not yours. So just keep doing what you're doing. Don't try to change for nobody, and just be true to yourself, because, you know, there's a woman out there for every man, I believe.
Exactly, because I like nice guys. Like, they're the best. And, like, I like to be respected, not yelled at and told what to do, because I hate when people tell me what to do. I don't give a fuck. Like, don't tell me what to do. So, you know, I appreciate a guy who can be, you know, sensitive and caring. Like, I understand, like, overly sensitive. Like, this nigga is just, like, always crying and whatnot. That's a little much, you know?
Well, yeah, crying.
Crying and just, like, always sharing their emotions, like, constantly. Like, even I don't share my emotions that well or that much. So it's like, I don't need you to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that would be OD. Like, you know, say you got with a new dude and he was, like, constantly crying, or, you know, say you was out with your girls and he was calling you a couple of times, your phone was on maybe do not disturb or something like that, and then he leaves you 3-4 voicemails and he's ecstatic crying, you know,
exactly.
overboard and stuff like that. And, you know, that's clearly not okay, no. But I'm talking about, you know, the men who are just trying to be sensitive to the women's feelings, tries to respect them, tries to talk to them in a different way, you know, even when they are arguing, you know, having a disagreement, and just not trying to, you know, intimidate them or, you know, impose any type of image on them.
So the next question is, cockiness is a real big turnoff, at least for me, and I know, like, maybe half the women in America. And, like, a lot of guys confuse it with confidence. Like, confidence is sexy. When you carry yourself well, you know what you have, and you're flaunting it, and you're just really confident, and you know who you are, you know, self-worth and all that. But cockiness is just really, like, at this point, it's really just, I'm over it. It's like,
I'm not trying to sound like I say the same thing over and over and over again, but a lot of things that us men, you know, do and stuff like that, it goes off the stuff we see off social media. And, you know, like I said, say we meet a girl online, or not even online, say we, you know, hop in, you know, message her or something like that, and she's giving us some play or, you know, anything like that, and, you know, we think things that we don't have right now are good enough for her, or will impress her, or will do enough to keep her around, you know. Maybe some dudes feel like they need to tell a white lie, or, you know, just little things like that, just to kind of boost their image to her, to try to make her more interested, or to seem like, you know, they're somebody they're not to other people. Because a lot of times, a lot of people in this generation, they like to seek the validation of other people to feel good about themselves. And no, that's not a good thing at all, but that's just how the world is nowadays. And I think that has a lot to do with it. When a guy consistently brags and consistently tries to, you know, make you see the things that he has, and, you know, maybe that's all he has to offer. Maybe he's really shallow. Maybe he doesn't really, you know, really is not intellectual and can't understand you as a person. So he feels like he has to, you know, impress you with money, with his cars, with his clothes, with the things he can do for you. You know, which might woo you at first, but, you know, eventually that stuff gets old. You know, you want to be able to connect with somebody, you know, be able to eventually love somebody and, you know, have those good, deep conversations with them. So, you know, mistaken, you know, confidence for cockiness will only get you so far with certain women. Yeah, it's gonna, you know, it might get you laid every now and then, might get you, you know, this and that, some, you know, some new numbers and stuff like that. But we know at the end of the night, when you really want true love and somebody that you can truly relate to, you know, you have to carry yourself confidently, not cocky, because one, you know, that's a turn off for a lot of women who, you know their worth and, you know, who aren't impressed by those things. And two, you know, it gets old after a while. Like, you know, money's nice, yeah, but, you know, that's not gonna get you, that's not gonna buy you love, you know, or, you know, a wife and a kid and stuff like that. So you just have to, you know, it's good to be confident about yourself and be confident in your ability, but just don't let that, you know, turn into cockiness, because it could just turn you into a bad person. And, you know, I've seen it before, so, you know, yeah.
I agree completely, 100%. Okay, so the next question is, it's funny because I feel like you're just gonna contradict everything you've been saying. But why do y'all trip over social media? Like, say girls on social media, you see something she says, you know, you may take it a little, I guess, to heart, or you may think it's about you when it's not. So why do y'all trip over social media?
I don't feel like it's just us, honestly.
We're not talking about females though, we're talking about males, so I need the male perspective. That's why.
No, I feel you. I don't know. I just feel like it goes both ways. I feel like if we see something we don't like, or see something that might hit an insecurity, we kind of react off that, and, you know, that's why, in my opinion, I don't really think it's good. Well, I don't really think, not good or bad, but I don't see the point in following your significant other on social media. You know, because maybe y'all getting a little spat or you have a little disagreement or something like that. You know, she might post something or say something, or he might post something or say something, or retweet something or favorite something or anything like that you might see, and then you might be in your feelings, and then you might react to that, and then it just causes, you know, a snowball and stuff like that. So, you know, I just think it goes off that we're always on our phones. You know, we always, you know, when any of us get in any type of mood, majority of us go to our phones and, you know, try to, you know, subliminally, you know, hint of how we feel. So I think that's why people trip, you know, males and females. I just think that's the age that we're in, you know. So, like I said, I think that's why, you know, us men trip. But it goes both ways. I don't think men trip more than women. I don't think women trip more than men when it comes to, you know, social media tripping, in my opinion.
All right. Solid answer, I guess. So, next question is, I don't know how to ask. Okay, so it's gonna be a little debate over here. So why do men adhere to double standards so frequently? Like, for example, like, say a girl, you know, she just likes to have sex. Like, that's her preference. She just prefers to have sex. You know, let it be one with one guy or multiple men. You know, then she gets labeled as a hoe, whore, slut, harlot, anything you can name in the book. But when a guy does it, he's a, you know what I mean? He's a player. He's cool. That nigga's, you know, that nigga. Like, so that's just an example. And I know there's others, but I don't understand why do guys always get praised for that? And girls always get, you know, kind of bashed. And, like, just for any double standard, it's like, I feel like in our generation, I feel like it's kind of like that. Like, if a female does something that a guy does, he always gets praised. Or maybe not praised in a sense, but it's always some type of, you know, dap from his guys, or, you know, some type of likeness to his, you know, action. But when it's her action, it's always like negative. Whatever she's doing is negative, and it shouldn't lead to that. So help me understand.
I just honestly think that has a lot to do with how you were raised, the group of people you surround yourself with, and the way you carry yourself. Because if you grew up, you know, in a not so good household with no, you know, really structure and stuff like that, say, you know, your mom or your father had, you know, multiple people running in and out of the house, multiple partners and stuff like that, and you really had no structure and no instructions how to really do things, how to respect yourself, then you would gravitate, you know, to of course be around people who do the same thing. And if you grew up around a group of people who are, you know, cool with sleeping around and, you know, playing women or playing men and stuff like that, that's going to be acceptable to you. But if you surround yourself with people who actually respect themselves, who don't want to have multiple partners, who really want to have, you know, true love before they do those things, and really, you know, not have careless, meaningless sex, and stupid relationships and pointless relationships, then that's the person you'll be. So I really think it has to do with, you know, who you are, how you were raised, the people you surround yourself with. Because, you know, the group I surround myself with, if I told them, hey, you know, I just had sex with 4 or 5 women this weekend, they'll be like, damn, nigga, you're nasty, you need to go to the doctor. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Why would you do that? You know, and also know, you know, also when I was younger, I know a group of people who I told that to. If I went and told it to, they'll be like, damn, you know, that's what's up, you the man.
Yeah.
Where they at? You know, I'm trying to link up with them. So I just really think it has to do with who you are as a person, the way you respect yourself, the way you carry yourself, and who you surround yourself with. The same thing goes for women, in my opinion. You know, if you carry yourself around a group of women who like to have, you know, casual sex and, you know, just party all the time and drink and, you know, blackout and not remember what they're doing the night before, then that's the stuff you'll fall into. But if you carry yourself around a group of women who like to, you know, for example, go to dinner parties and, you know, sip on wine and just, you know, relax and chill like that, and really, you know, respect themselves mentally, physically, and, you know, spiritually, and, you know, want to wait to give their body up and really look at their body as a temple. Because in my opinion, I think every woman's body is like a temple. It needs to be worshipped, it needs to be praised, it needs to be well taken care of, and, you know, it shouldn't have easy access. And, you know, if you have that, you know, mindset as a woman, then that's the woman you'll be. So like I said, I just think it has to do with, you know, the group of people you surround yourself with, and, you know, how you were raised and your mindset. Because, you know, I don't look at it as a double standard. If you're a man sleeping with a bunch of women, if you're a woman sleeping with a bunch of men, you dirty, in my opinion, you know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not dirty, but it's just like, you know, if you're doing it unprotected and it's just so frequently and stuff like that, then of course you're dirty, you know, like that, in my opinion. But I just think that has a lot to do with it. And, you know, yeah.
But I guess it's just, you know, I guess it goes back to social media, because, you know, a lot of stuff's portrayed in there, and it's always like, you know, praising men about the stuff they do, or like, but I feel like in this day and age, it's kind of getting like to the point where women are kind of, not even just women, a lot of people are noticing it, and it's kind of getting brought like awareness now. Because, you know, just not saying rape has never been disregarded, but it's like, I feel like people are starting to be a little bit more on top of that. And just along with everything, like, you know, just who you keep your children with now, it's kind of like, people are more cautious now. They don't just, you know, even with the like care.com, I think like babysitters and stuff, it's a full background check and everything now. So I feel like people are we're trying to like, you know, we're starting to bring awareness to it, and we're trying to like make it not okay, but it's still like lingering around still, I feel like.
Exactly.
Okay, so why, I guess this is just kind of a general question, and I know it goes both ways, but why do men let their insecurities like ruin like a good relationship, or, you know what I mean, like a good relationship with a good woman, you know, everything's going fine, and then, you know, maybe one little thing happens, and then they kind of just let their insecurities take over, and then, you know, the relationship might go like have a downfall and end because of something. And like I said, it can go both ways, but something, you know, he or she is insecure about, and they kind of let it dwell, and then it just ruins the relationship. What do you think about that? Because
honestly, I think this might sound well, I don't know how it's gonna sound, but honestly, that sounds like to me that a man who cares about his woman, who knows her worth, and who doesn't want to disappoint her, and who doesn't want to let her down. So maybe his insecurity might be, my body's not right, his insecurity might be, my job's not good enough, his insecurity might be, my life's not, you know, well enough put together yet to provide for this woman that I, you know, the way I want to, and you know, I need to separate myself and get those things straight until I can do that. Because men, you know, people are different. Some men feel like they can, you know, get their shit together with somebody by their side. Some people feel like they need to step away and do everything independently and get their shit together and be on it by themselves and then have somebody. So, you know, if a man is constantly, you know, letting his insecurities mess with him, it's just that he wants to do better for you. He wants to provide, he wants to have more for you. He wants to be able to provide more for you. And it's not like he doesn't want to be with you. It's not like he doesn't want to, you know, spend his life with you. It's just like he wants to do it the right way. And maybe he feels like now that he's struggling and he's not, you know, in the right, you know, financial state that he would want to be in, that is causing a relationship unnecessary problems. And he might want to separate himself from that until he can figure out the things that he needs to do in order to, you know, be the man that he wants to be for himself and for you. So, you know, I just think, you know, that's a man who knows what he wants, who cares, who is smart, and who is not taking you for granted as a woman. You know, if he didn't care and if he didn't let those things get to him, it would just be like he's complacent in his current mind state and you know where he's at in life. And that's not good for anybody. You know, the only people in life that should be complacent where they're at is freaking, you know, Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and stuff like that.
Exactly. Well, maybe not Jeff Bezos now, but
nah, that nigga still, he'll be alright.
I mean, he'll be alright, but you know,
still gonna be alright. But
worse.
But yeah, I just think that's, you know, I just really think that's what it is. Because in my past experiences, that's what it's been like. You know, you have a great woman who you want to give the world to, who's, you know, who you potentially want to possibly marry, who you want to spend the rest of your life with, but you can't do the necessary, you know, in your head, the little things that you want to do for her, you know, and you want to provide for her, you can't provide for her the way that you want to provide for her. And it messes with you. It messes with your mental. It messes with, you know, everything. And it makes you just want to kind of shut down and separate yourself until you get those things, you know, so you're able to provide for her the way you feel like that you should. So, you know, I just think that's kind of maybe a man, you know, being kind of selfish, but at the same time looking out for a good woman. Because like I said, if he didn't care for you, if he didn't give a fuck, if he didn't want the best for you, then he would be cool giving you the bare minimum. But if he truly wants to give you the world and the universe, then he'll be, you know, kind of, not constantly, but every now and then kicking himself and feeling down about, you know, that he can't provide for you, that he can't give you those things yet. So I just think that has a lot to do with it. And that can kind of cause arguments, disagreements, you know, you and your significant other not seeing eye to eye. And, you know, it's nobody's fault. Like, it's all out of good, you know, out of goodwill, out of you having a good heart and you wanting the best. But, you know, it's just, yeah, that's just how it be sometimes.
I understand. Just, you know, sometimes it's overwhelming for the significant other, just from, you know, past experiences, past relationships. And, you know, just from friends going through, you know, somebody's, you know, their significant other letting them, you know, take on all their insecurities as well. And it's like, you know, it's overwhelming at times, I feel like. But then, yeah, I guess, you know, my past experience led to the relationship ending because of somebody else's insecurities. But, you know, I just feel like, I guess it goes along with communication as well. Like, if you communicated maybe something you're not so fond of about yourself, then you guys can work on it and grow as a couple rather than, you know, struggle as an individual and just kind of take it on the other. But, you know, I guess it just depends on the relationship, the couple, you know, time, place, what's going on in their lives as well. Like everything else too. But
exactly.
That was a good answer. But, okay, so my last question for part 2 is kind of a deep question. It's very sensitive, but I just kind of want to get a male perspective, I guess. Why do you think men abuse their... I mean, it could be a number of answers, and trust me, I've done research and you know, there's a number of different things in the relationship. It depends on the relationship, the couple, you know, what happened previously in their lives. But why do you think men, you know, obviously females abuse men, but it's more so men abusing their females? Maybe if she, you know, comes home a little too late, or, you know what I mean, if she's hanging out with the girls and it slipped her mind and she didn't think to tell him, or like, you know, even just simple things like, why do you think men abuse women? Why?
Because them niggas are crazy. And they have no self-respect for themselves, no self-respect for anybody, and those are demons, and those aren't people who have any feelings. They don't have any heart or anything like that. I'm not talking about women abusing men, because I think that happens like 20% of the time.
Yeah, that's why I said it doesn't really.
But if you're a man abusing a woman, that's completely unacceptable. It doesn't matter if you grew up around that or anything like that. If you grew up around that, that should give you more inclination and, you know, impulse not to do that to a woman, because you see the damage it can do. And, you know, majority of men are stronger than women. That's just the way it is. Majority of men are stronger than women.
Yeah.
So there's no reason that you should ever result to, you know, a physical altercation. If she's hitting on you, if she's doing anything like that, you just need to get away from the situation. And for a woman, I know it's just not that easy to just get away. I know it's not. But if you see those signs early, then you need to start playing your way. You need to start planning your escape early. So if that's saving a couple dollars every single paycheck just to one day up and leave him, or if that's one day, you know, placing hidden cameras in the house so you can record him and make a police report or anything like that, you need to do things to get away from that. Because I've seen times where women are just, you know, they accept that.
Yeah.
You know, and they deal with that because the man is providing for them, and, you know, they're scared and, you know, stuff like that, which I completely understand. But if you keep dealing with that and, you know, you keep allowing that to be okay, it's going to result to one day you not being able to breathe no more, or to even try to defend yourself, or even be able to think and defend yourself. So I honestly don't know why men abuse women, because I always think there's a way to talk things out, to separate yourself from the situation, and to not resort to physical violence, especially if it's somebody who's weaker than you and, you know, can't defend themselves when it comes to you. You know, maybe that's a man who doesn't have any self-confidence in himself, who was bullied when he was younger or anything like that. That doesn't give him any excuse to do that, because there's a lot of different ways to deal with, you know, you getting into it with your woman or anything like that. So honestly, I don't know. You know, I just think those are people who are just, you know, not good people, who don't have any good intentions, who don't have any self-respect, and who don't want, you know, anything good to happen, clearly. Because if you could put your hands on a woman, then there's no telling what you would do.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, honestly, I really don't know why men do that. I understand we get angry and we get, you know, in a rage or something like that, but there's other ways to deal with that, rather than, you know, hitting a woman or, you know, anything like that.
That was just like a serious little question I wanted to ask, to see kind of what a male's perspective was. Obviously, you know, I've heard several different answers and from several different, you know, people, male and female, but yeah, it's just like, and obviously it's been more aware now, I feel like, in our generation, you know, people are trying to like stop these people like immediately, like, it, you know, so and there's even like shelters and, you know, relief for people that do go through that, and, you know, trying to get rid of it. And there are different organizations now, like more so than I feel like, you know, in the last 10 years. I feel like there's a lot more now than there was, just to help these women, or, you know, women and children, to just find shelter, food, and, you know, just to get back on their feet and, you know, avoid these situations, just so they can get themselves safe, and, you know, maybe whoever their significant other is, you know, some help. Exactly. So I think it's, you know, more aware. People are more aware now than they were back then. But I just wanted to ask that question because I was curious. Yeah.
And, you know, side note, that's one of the good things of social media, because, you know, back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and even the 80s, even the 90s, you know, there wasn't no way for possibly a woman to put on, you know, any type of platform that she was getting abused, or, you know, even if she was, you know, creating a fake profile and, you know, just putting her marks or anything like that, just to try to get help and, you know, raise awareness, you know. So, like I said, social media can be used for bad things, but, you know, and it, you know, it can be used for good things as well.
Exactly.
So,
and that's how people get more aware as well, because it gets spread so fast, because anything goes viral nowadays, memes, all that, so videos, everything. So
exactly.
It's one positive thing that social media can do. But that concludes our part 2. I hope you guys liked it. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for joining me, Mr. Green. I really appreciate your presence on the show. I feel
anytime.
It's always nice to have a little male perspective on the show. But so next week, topic's gonna be random. So bear with me. Back to ranting and telling you guys about my life. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Peace, y'all.
Cheers.